Greetings duelists and welcome to another video. So uh, yesterday we've had a full set spoiler release for the entire set of Duelist Nexus. Duelist Nexus is going to debut in 2 weeks from now, and one of the themes that was introduced and was shown completely was the Tistina archetype. Basically, from what we learned and what we gathered, the Tistina archetype revolves around this monster right here, the Crystal God, and you have a lot of monsters that revolve around the Crystal God itself. Basically, what Konami wants you to do with this archetype is try to contest your opponent's board while also dealing damage and start like picking cards with both the demigod and the crystal god. I won't talk too much about what the cards already do. If you've already been paying attention, you probably already know what most of these cards can do itself. I will give a brief TLDR just for the simplification of what we're going to be doing here. Um, so Sentinel can pop a set card or a Tistina to add a Tistina. The Hound gives the ability of Tistina monsters to attack directly. Um, the Demigod can special summon itself if you control a Tistina, and it makes it so you add a spell or trap. And the Crystal God, it sets monsters your opponent controls, and then everything else that's left face up sends them to the graveyard. The Demigod also gains that effect if the Crystal God is present. Breath of the Tistina is basically an extra normal summon for a Tistina monster, and it also makes it so you can set a monster to add any Tistina card. And then you have the Divine Domain, which is a foolish burial for a Tistina monster. And if your opponent controls more cards, you can special summon the Crystal God. And if this card leaves the field by your opponent, Destruction specifically, you can special a Tistina. So now that we have a small implication of what the cards do, we kind of have to understand the fundamentals of what Konami wants you to do with this archetype. Basically, what they want you to do is rotate between the breath, the demigod, the crystal god, and the field spell. And you're probably going to have these monsters on board because they can both special summon themselves if you control a light Tistina, which is the gods. And this one tutors out your cards, which means you get this whole rotation going. So now that we know like what do you want to do with the Tistina cards, I guess I can showcase you a small combo. So in order for this combo, basically you just want to set something and open the Sentinel, or open any other monster and open the breath of the Tistina. Because the breath can get you to the Sentinel, and since the breath allows you to do an extra normal summon, you can summon the Sentinel and pop whatever you set with the breath of Tistina. So you're probably thinking, okay, this archetype doesn't do anything, at least by itself. Can this be playable with another archetype or another engine? Or like, are there any splashable cards that we can play that can make this strategy viable? And what can the Tistina cards do to make viable for whatever you play with them? And I arrived to a small conclusion, and you're about to see it right now. So notice that I didn't show you the Tistina trap card yet. Also, I did not show you what the set card is. You have 3 seconds to guess what the set card is at my rightmost monster zone. 3, 2, 1. The card I'm going to pop is Escape of the Unchained. This can be any Unchained card, but we're using Escape for the example. And now the Sentinel resolves, and you're grabbing the Crystal God, the Demigod. So let's put this right here. This is added out of the Sentinel. The Sentinel resolved this effect, and now the Escape will trigger because it was popped while it was set face down, and this will make it so we can summon an Unchained monster. So let's pretend this token is an Unchained monster. Be careful with whatever monster you summon, because there are 2 specific Unchained monsters that lock you into Fiend summons as long as they are on the field. I'll go more on that very soon, probably on the next video, or we can do it on this one. Basically, we're just trying to showcase the combo. Since the Sentinel triggered, you add the Demigod. Since you control Tistina, you summon the Demigod. The Demigod will make it so you add the domain of the Tistina. You activate the domain. The domain will make it so you dump the Hound. And since you control a light Tistina monster, you can special summon the Hound from the graveyard. So basically, this is a 2-card combo that gives you 4 bodies on the board. And it gives you the field spell, which if it ends up gone by your opponent, can just summon another monster. And if you go second, it means that you can also summon the Crystal God. So not too bad. We can take a look at the extra deck. We can see that there's a plethora of options. One thing that you can do here is that you can turn this and whatever the Unchained monster is, and you turn it into the Unchained Rage, or you can turn it into Muckcracker, and then the Muckcracker can bring back whatever Unchained monster you summon. Remember that you'll be locked into Fiends for the rest of the turn. You discard whatever's in your hand, and then you can link away this and the Muckcracker and turn it into Yama, the Unchained Soul. And Yama will add you another Unchained card, so let's pretend that you have an extra card added from the Yama. And yeah, this doesn't look like too bad. Another thing you can do is, before you do the summon of Muckcracker, you can summon IP. And IP could be part of your end board. That means some of these Tistina cards are gone to the graveyard. And just have IP as a form of interruption alongside whatever you summon using the Unchained Soul. You can also like summon the Soul of Rage as part of your summon, or this could be part of your end board. But yeah, so why Unchained? The reason the Unchained archetype works very well is because you can set cards with the Unchained, and it just makes it so it can facilitate like more summons. Like right now we don't have any set cards that we can set but this hand is still playable because now you just gonna grab the breath, you're going to activate it. This will make it so you have an extra summon. You summon here, you set. This will grab you the Demigod, and then the Demigod will summon. The Demigod will make it so you grab the field spell. This field spell is in your hand. Now you activate the field spell. In this build, I'm only playing one copy of the Hound, but for explanation, we can just send the Hound to the graveyard, and we can just set another monster. Let's set this Sentinel face down, and then since you control the demigod, you can special both of these back from the grave. And yeah, so now that we know what the Tistina cards do, and now that we know that we have a splashable engine or another archetype that can be played alongside them, now we have to ask ourselves the question: do you still want to go second with this deck? Do you want to go first? What can the Tistina cards provide for Unchained? What can the Unchained cards provide for the Tistina cards? Can this be consistent? Can this be inconsistent? Right now it's very, very soon to tell. Like, there is no real concrete way of like knowing if these cards are going to be good for like whatever archetype that you pair alongside these. What we can say for sure is that Tistinas are in a rough spot because their win condition is this guy, and there's no real way to summon this outside of the field spell. If these were Fiended type monsters, that would have made it a lot easier and a lot helpful, because cards like Muckracker could help summon this. But the fact that they're Aquas is kind of awkward. The fact that this is level 10 is also awkward. But right now, this looks like a really, really fun concept. I feel like in due time, like, things can work out better for this deck. But right now, it's very, very, very soon to tell. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this small video. I hope you guys enjoyed like the explanations. I hope this was helpful in any way, shape, or form. I'm still going to be experimenting with this. I feel like Tistina is still a very, very interesting concept. And we have to take note that they're getting more and more cards in the future wave of support, and if Konami can solve the issues that the deck has with the next wave, this might look like a very promising archetype, because right now I can tell you that the boss monsters are kind of solid, no pun intended. I feel like the engine itself, it's not bad at all. I feel like in the right hands, with the right pilot, in the right build, this can be consistent to some degree. But as of with any TCG exclusive archetype, with the exception being maybe Burning Abyss, if you want to make that argument, just having the first wave of support, it's not enough to kickstart the archetype, because there's so many little cards to work with, which means that whatever bridges you want to make for your strategy is just not that consistent. But yeah, until next time, keep practicing and keep dueling.